So we're staying with football on this Tuesday edition of the SportsMax Zone. Both Caribbean teams secured medals at the CASA Youth Soccer Classic, which concluded in Florida at the weekend with Jamaica Old Schools as the outright winners. And Phil Riley, our senior football producer, joining us live in studio. You would have seen him all week last week in cold temperatures in Florida, relaying to us all the action from Florida and the tournament. So good on the Jamaican team, Phil, that they ended up winning the tournament. We have a wrap coming up just to encapsulate the entire final day and what happened. But how good were they?
They were good. I mean, I've been there 3 years, and this was the best team that I've seen. I could see only 3 players that would have been added to the team, but they were missing for several different reasons. Yes. But this was the best team that Jamaica sent, and I must give credit to the organizers of the team and the background staff. They really did a lot. I saw that they trained every day. They had review sessions every day at the hotel, and that made a difference. You know, not knocking anybody before, but they really worked right through the tournament, and they got better each time. Yeah,
I see that the final actually went to penalties, and the Plantation team that they beat actually had Caribbean players on their roster as well.
Yes, they had a Jamaican player. His father's a jockey. Pownall, yeah. Right. Keshawn Pownall.
His father is Kennedy Pownall. He used to be a jockey at Caymanas Park.
Yeah. A good player. Yes. A good player. Keshawn, a good player, scored 3 goals in the tournament.
Yes.
Yes, he scored in almost every game. And he's a very small player like his father, but he's hard to get out the ball, and he's skillful, fast, everything. I really liked him a lot during the tournament. You know, he played well. And, I mean, they went into the final on Saturday. Yeah. Everybody was saying, well, the game between Jamaica and RPS Rush, was really the final before the final, because in terms of talent and football play, they look the best 2 teams. It was just unfortunate that they were in the same group. I don't know why I won't say what I think, but I think the organizers could have done a better job at, you know, seeding the teams going in.
Right.
Because we really saw a good game on Saturday. It finished 0-0, but Jamaica went through on goal difference.
Yeah, but how would they see the teams, Phil, if it is that the teams will change over the years? How would they know that the Rush team should have been seeded away from the Jamaica Old Schools team?
Well, the Rush is an academy team, and you saw them last year. They picked the best players from across the world. So you know they're going to be good. And you know the Jamaicans are going to be good every single year. You know, so I mean, that tells you that...
Yeah. That's enough information to go on.
Yeah, that's enough information to know that you put those 2 teams in separate groups.
Yes.
It sounds a lot to me like the new Champions League format that we just discussed on the show, where there'll be some matchups that, you know, we're not really expecting, but we're not going to talk about that. You spoke about the players and the teams that really impressed you, but I have to ask about the ones that would have disappointed you from your time going and, of course, covering this event.
Actually, none of the teams disappointed me. I thought this was a better tournament than the last 2 years. All of the teams, you know, most of the teams are returning teams. There's one new team in Miami AC, and they looked a decent team. They replaced Inter Miami.
Okay.
I'm still yet to hear why Inter Miami was not a part of this tournament. Nobody, you know, I've even asked one of the persons from Inter Miami. And
maybe Lionel Messi told them not to play.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But the quality, it was the best I've seen. It has been the best I've seen since I've been going to the tournament. All the games were good games. The Tobago team, they played well. They were improved over last year. They got to the playoff game. You will see from the wrap that there were some issues on the Sunday, because Tobago was supposed to play in the 3rd place playoff, but Sunday morning I got a call like after 7 from the coach, and he was not happy because they had cancelled the 3rd place game.
Wow.
Yeah, and he actually woke me out of my bed because I was trying to get, because the days are so long, and this was a day when I could sleep a little longer, but, his concern was really good because they traveled all the way from Tobago, paid their own plane fares to come and just to play 2 games after they played so well in the last game against Miami AC, to hear on the morning that, hey, the game has been cancelled.
And so last minute too, because in the morning.
Yeah, the RPS Rush, who played Jamaica, and they didn't lose. The game was drawn, but Jamaica went through and go. They decided that they weren't turning up for the third place game.
So it's not the organizers' fault then?
No, no. But Tobago was not happy with that because spending all that money to travel.
To play football and you don't get to play.
To play football and you don't get to play a game that you fought so hard to be a part of. Last year they played the third place game, but this year they sort of, hey, we have a chance to get a medal because last year they lost to Jamaica. So
they still got it though, right?
I didn't see any medals being handed out. I can tell you that. The game, I asked the question, if Miami AC wins, because the game, they end up calling Miami AC and they came. So after the game was cancelled, at about 11:46, I got a message to say, Tobago will play Miami AC. So, the game was back on. And the game played, and during the middle of the game, I asked someone, I said, what if Miami AC wins? Who's gonna come be third? Because Tobago had gotten past Miami AC to get to this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Miami AC did not qualify for the third place playoff.
No. So I was asking the question. Of course, nobody had the answer. But at the end of the game, we were expecting penalties. Everybody was expecting penalties.
Yes.
And then we heard an announcement that both teams will share the third place. There'll be no penalty shootouts.
Boy. Yeah. I think one of the ways that could have been settled is that if Miami AC won, it would be null and void. But if the Tobago select team won, they would get the third because they had qualified for third.
But then
Miami AC didn't qualify for the third place playoff. So to me, that could have been a fix, as untidy as it may seem. But I know in other administrative tournament kind of things where, like even if you have a team playing as a guest team, if you reach the final and you win as a guest team, you won't be given the title. It's the team that legitimately played in the tournament that would get the title.
Just give them the medal and not the match.
But part of the issue here, Phil, as we commiserate with the Tobago select team, is that scouting is a part of why they are there. Right. So a heavy part of the team's appearance at this tournament is to advertise their talent to the scouts that are there.
Right.
So but before I ask you about how impressed the scouts were, that would have been another reason why the Tobago select team would have been upset that they didn't have another opportunity.
Right, and the coach did say that on the call.
Yes.
Because the last time they played was, I think, Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
So and most of the scouts would come on the weekend.
Correct.
So Saturday, Sunday they would turn up.
Yeah.
Not
good.
To be sitting there
not good.
Look at the issue with the hotel.
Yeah.
They could have gone home. Sitting there from Thursday.
Yeah, they could have gone home if they knew that.
Oh boy. Well, I can't tell you what they did to get the game on, but
All right, let's go to the wrap now. Maybe Gerard Morrissey will tell us.
Trophy Day in the Caribbean America's Youth Soccer Classic for 2025, one which started with RPS Rush stating their unavailability for the third place playoff, resulting in the game initially being cancelled for 3 p.m. But by 12 noon, the match was back on with Tobago Select placed against the team they edged for a spot in the playoff, Miami AC. Now, onto the football. With both teams happy for this third place game of the tournament, they took it as a lifeline and came out to play in typical Tobago style. They came with the physicality. As usual, Kareem Warner in goal for Tobago came up good again for the team from the Small Isle. but the two easiest chances of the half fell to the reliable Kaim Lewis, who uncharacteristically missed from close range. 0-0 at the half. There was no need for a halftime phone call because Kyle Joseph, the coach, was finally here.
So we go in somewhere, we start going somewhere, we start understanding what's going on, right? So we just start coming together, putting together, recover.
The second half was much like the first, with a few changes for each team, and both goalkeepers coming up big, leaving it 0-0 at the final whistle. Now, time for the big game, the final. Plantation Rush versus Jamaica All Schools. The teams were greeted by tournament officials along with ISA officials. Before this game, many believed that Jamaica All Schools would have a much easier time than they did a day prior, but that was far from the truth. Plantation came to play. Jamaica All Schools controlled the early part of the game, however, and camped out in Plantation's half, eventually breaking the deadlock. After the Jamaicans pressed high and forced a turnover, Captain Dylan John finished sweetly. With their rhythm, it felt as if the Jamaicans would go on to score 2 more goals, but that was not to be, as Plantation Rush woke up after conceding, and in one of their few attacks in the first half, Kishan Pownell toe-poked one past goalkeeper Marion Brown for his 3rd goal of the tournament after a nice reverse pass from Keon Dawes. Surprise, surprise, 1-1 at the half. At halftime, Jamaica made a few changes, especially with the front 3. Plantation played a high line and had their goalkeeper play as a sweeper, which seemed to be working until the 69th minute after a through ball from Dylan John to O'Rain Watson. The goalkeeper handled the ball, red card, and Plantation had to play the last 10 minutes plus added time with 10 men. But that they did. With less than 2 minutes to go on the clock, Jamaica swapped round for well-known penalty stopper Garfield Tomlinson in goal, as the score would stay at 1 apiece at the final whistle. Penalties would decide the winner for a 3rd straight year, and just like he did in the CASA Cup semis and final, Garfield Tomlinson was the hero, saving back-to-back penalties from Amado Castillo and Eduardo Garcia, with O'Rain Watson, Dylan John, DeAndre Barnett, and Ryan O'Neal Francis all going to the keeper's left for a perfect 4 from 4. Jamaica All Schools lifting the title for the first time in 6 years, with O'Rain Watson as leading goal scorer and Dylan John tournament MVP.
It feels great. We were reminded before we came up that for the past 2 years, we would have lost out on this championship. The first objective was to get ourselves in the final, the championship game. And so it's very, very, very elating that, we would have capped it out. We continue that kind of tight discipline schedule from we came. Every morning we have our meeting, we have our post-meeting, we have our pre-season meeting. And we had a tight schedule, very disciplined. And I thought the boys buying into it. And they were very disciplined throughout. And it showed us right through the tournament.
Yeah, successful season there for Coach Vassar Reynolds, of course, coaching Kingston College to the Manning Cup title and being a part of this old school setup to lift the CASA soccer title. Tomlinson in goal with those penalty saves, vital, Phil, and it's a skill that some goalkeepers have. They're just strong in stopping penalties.
Yes, I can't remember seeing a better penalty stopper in schoolboy football than Garfield Tomlinson. He saved them in the Gavi Maceo in the semi-finals. I believe he saved 2 the CASA Cup final again. Yeah. And then, I was saying to some persons that, hey, the keeper is going to come on now. They're going to make a change. and then they turned to me and said, oh, you know that? He said, look out. And they made it. They
all
started.
right, Coach Phil?
Yeah. It was an obvious call, though.
Yeah.
It was an obvious call. Yeah. 2 minutes to go, and you're going to penalties. Yeah. Oh, come on. Who wouldn't put Garfield Tomlinson in the goal? Yeah. Even Stevie Wonder would.
Well, what's for sure is you had an exciting trip. So many different storylines, minus the frozen Phil, but... Yeah.
I must give credit to O'Shane. O'Shane, the
videography,
idea about videography and editing.
About miking
that. Really good, that was his idea, to mic the players, and I just jumped at it, and it came off well. He did a really good job for the entire week. And,
well, thank God he's back, because I need him for in case you missed it. So thank you that he's back.
Yeah. And Lance, Anthony Corbett.
Yes.
You know, send some shout-outs to you. We finally got an interview with him after 3 years. I waited patiently and gave me a really nice interview. Okay. So that will be a part of the highlight show.
Oh, yeah.
One of our highlight show that
we look forward to that. Former Jamaica captain Anthony Corbett, one of my favorite Jamaica players of all time. A tremendously gifted footballer who is now coaching in Florida. Phil, thanks for stopping by to give us a recap of what happened in the CASA Youth Classic in Florida, and we look forward to seeing the Caribbean teams back in action next year and impressing the scouts and getting opportunities overseas. We go to break. Back with more on The Zone after this.